Chelsea take on Heidenheim in the Europa Conference League, and I am not going to be there. I can't believe it. I am going to be. Oh, okay. Is the stream not working? Oh, the stream is working, just not on X. Let me just make sure it's working. Strange. Big up to everyone that's watching on YouTube. I hope you're all doing very, very well. This is going to be a preview for the Heidenheim match tomorrow. That will be taking place at 5:45 UK time. So listen, I can't believe I'm not going there, and I will update you as to why. It's well, I'd say no fault of my own. It's absolutely my fault. I lost my passport when I came back from Panathinaikos. So I managed to get on the flight. I got on the flight, got out of Gatwick Airport, and I had my passport up until that point, and then I ended up losing it. I don't know how, I don't know where, but it's got to be in Gatwick somewhere around that area. So I've obviously ordered a new passport. And funny enough, I got it earlier than I expected to get it. But not early enough for me to have the confidence to book the flights for Heidenheim and get everything sorted with the club. So I didn't end up getting that booked up in the end. So that's why I can't go. Not because I didn't want to, of course I did. But I will be trying to go to Astana in Kazakhstan. I haven't booked it yet, but I think there is a genuine chance that I can get it done. And if I can, oh, mate, that would be unbelievable. Everyone said it's really cold in Astana as well, but last time I checked, it was about 20 degrees in Kazakhstan. So I'm not sure I'm not sure who's saying what, but it doesn't actually seem to be that bad. It seems to be okay. But yeah, I mean, let's dive into it. All the latest Chelsea news as well. We will keep you up to date on the channel. If you haven't already, guys, smash the like button. It does help. It shows us that you are enjoying the content and that you would like us to continue making videos, whether they're live or pre-recorded. It's totally up to you. Now, just a quick update with the Heidenheim game. Josh Achimpong has been spotted in first team training ahead of this game. This comes as a result of the news that Reece James is going to be out for a little bit longer than we all expected, which is very, very frustrating, to be honest with you. Very frustrating. The fact that Reece James can't stay fit is creating this debate that doesn't really need to happen, but it does as well, because if the guy was fit, we'd never even talk about it. We'd just say to ourselves, well, we know how good Reece James is, but how many games are you willing to sacrifice him not playing in order to see the best of him when he does play? And also, are you really going to see the best of a player who consistently gets injured and then plays 10 games and then he's out again? Are you going to see that? Because I don't think that it's really it's like a Jack Wilshere situation, to be honest with you. I look at this player and I think to myself, Reece James is absolutely fantastic. There's no doubt in my mind. I love him. I love him as a player. I think he's a good character to have in the squad as well. I don't think he's really captain material in terms of being vocal enough and things like that. But he's a senior player in the squad. I'm not here to disrespect senior players in the squad. But as a senior player, what kind of example are you setting if you're never available? I'm not saying that he tries to get injured. We know that. I'm fully aware that he's not trying to get injured. But what I am saying is that there has to be an end point for everything. When did Chelsea say, you know what, enough is enough? We cannot keep supporting a player who is not given enough to the club. I'm sorry to say it. That's the debate, isn't it? Now, I'm not saying sell Reece James. I'm not saying keep Reece James. I actually don't really know where I stand. I'd actually say I'm on the fence with regards to this particular issue. I mean, according to Enzo Maresca, he said that Reece James is getting better day by day, but he still doesn't know how long he's going to be out of action for. So, I mean, this is not really ideal. It's not ideal, is it? He hasn't travelled to Heidenheim for Thursday's Conference League game. But Maresca has given us nothing to clarify the situation on Reece James. He is having a scan at the moment. That has been confirmed. And yeah, the only thing that Maresca says is that he's getting better. Well, what the hell does that mean? It's very difficult to judge when he's going to get better. Even the club, from what it seems, they're not 100% sure. I mean, Enzo Maresca said we don't know how many days he needs, and then repeated he's getting better. I mean, it's ridiculous. For the past 3.5 years, it's been really, really tough. Yeah, it's just frustrating, isn't it? He's only 24 years old, and he returned to the starting 11 for the 2-1 defeat against Liverpool last month, and subsequently came through successive minutes against Man United and Newcastle. And he didn't even get injured in a match. He got injured in training. So it makes me think to myself, there's nothing more the manager can do here. I mean, to support Reece James, he's done everything he can. So, yeah, I hope that we can see Reece James return very quickly, but I'm starting to understand why a lot of Chelsea fans have lost patience. I do understand it, right? I mean, it's so frustrating, isn't it? But yeah, Malo Gusto's also back in training. I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of that. That came out yesterday. In terms of the squad who is traveling to Heidenheim, I can tell you who's not traveling. Moises Caicedo, Marc Cucurella, Enzo Fernandez, which is a surprise. A lot of people predicted Fernandez would still be a part of this squad. Malo Gusto, Nicholas Jackson, Reece James, and Pedro Neto. Those are players who are not traveling to Heidenheim. Now, in terms of players who are going to be with the group, we've got some more surprises with Lucas Bergstrom, Keanu Dyer, Samuel Rak-Sakyi, Tyreek George, and Shamwara Mweka. They are going to be with the group in Germany, which is interesting. So we're giving a lot of young players a chance. We actually have 21 players traveling to Germany, so quite a decent amount, but I wouldn't say it's our strongest side by any means. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh. Chelsea have obviously comfortably won all of their games so far. So I mean, I don't think there's any surprise that we would expect to win again. But yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. I mean, if we're going through it player by player, we've got Robert Sanchez, Philip Jorgensen, Lucas Bergstrom, Disasi, Tosin, Badiashile, Colwell, Renato Vega as well in the defence will be travelling up. Cassidy, Chukwuemeka, Dewsbury Hall, Keanu Dyer, Samuel Rak-Sakyi, like I just mentioned before. Tyreek George, Noni Madueke will be travelling with João Felix, Mudryk, Jadon Sancho, Mark Guiu, Shamara Mweka, and Christopher Nkunku. So those are the 21 players that are going to be travelling up with us. Big up to you as well, Kev. How we doing, mate? You okay?
I'm all good, bro. How are you?
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
I thought, you might as well jump on. You've got the preview show around 11. Why not just... Otherwise, you'd just be bored. You might end up falling asleep. I don't know.
Brother, I was actually playing Ultimate Team, brother, until you really interrupted me. I was thinking I'm just going to smash some Ultimate Team, but you know what? It's the stuff that's more important than Ultimate Team, and obviously Chelsea. A very good Chelsea that are doing well, and it's always good to talk positively about them.
The sleep driver. What's up, Kev?
What does that mean?
Because you fall asleep when you drive, Kev.
Oh, on a couple of occasions, yeah. But come on, man, I'm human. Anybody that comes off.
You won't be human much longer if you crash. You'll just be a little atom.
Well, I didn't fall asleep on the way back from Newcastle, mate. I'm sure that video that we and you made needs to go viral, mate, where we was freaking dancing and singing all down the M1. But yeah, I do have my days. I'm just age is not on my side. Let's say that. It does catch up on me these long away days.
No, it's all good, Kev. It's all good. I
All
respect it. You know, Kev does hustle, guys. Big up to you as well, Chris. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to Daniel. I hope you're doing very well, my friend. Nemwahi, I don't know if I pronounced that right. He says Heidenheim will be a tough game. It won't be easy. Do you agree with that, Kev?
Oh well, just like any German team, you know, they've got 12 men, and like the fans really get behind them. I'd be sitting there and I'll be lying to you. I know nothing about this team. I've literally went onto their previous form. They're not in good form. I think they've won one in six. They sit 15th in their league, which is not good. Obviously, they're 2 points off relegation. Obviously, European football is probably not their form in the season. Done pretty well last year, but I know nothing about them. All I know is with any German team, the fan bases are brilliant. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be a hostile environment for Chelsea, especially being a young team. So we have to be mindful. It's not going to be as easy as it looks. I feel like with this young team, they have to be very cautious going into it because it's going to be something different from what they're used to.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the most recent results, we just look at the past 5 for an example. We've got Hertha Berlin, they lost 2-1. Hostel Kiel, they lost 1-0. They were both away from home. They beat Hearts in the Conference League. That was away from home as well. They played at home against Wolfsburg, lost 3-1, which I'd probably expect. Bayern Leverkusen beat them 5-2. The only thing that I would say is going to be interesting is the fact that they're obviously playing at home. And if you look at the past 5 games, they've only had 1 home game out of those 5. So
Yeah.
I would say that they'll be up for it in the fact that they've been playing so many matches away from home. But then again, like you said, Kev, they are 15th. It's not. I'm sure their home form. If their home form was better, they wouldn't have dropped so many points. So I mean that's also a factor for this. But yeah, I mean this is a team that don't keep clean sheets, but they do look to go out and score goals. I mean, any German team generally does that as well. They won't be sitting back. I can't imagine that's how they'll try and play. They all try and play football. So, I mean, I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction out the back, but I mean, do you go into this game as confident as you did against Noah, for example?
No. With any German opposition, tactically they usually set up well, but just going off their form, look like they're doing too well. But I've never heard of this Heidenheim before. When the name was mentioned, I thought it was a Dutch team, so I've never heard of them. So obviously last season they must have done well to get to this point in the UEFA Conference League. Obviously, with the UEFA Conference League, this is why their former slips in the league. That's the only way I can think that they've gone from a top 6 team in the Bundesliga to a bottom 4 team. So I believe that it's not going to be as easy what it looks. Like I said, it's going to be tough. I've seen the squad. It's a young squad. I do believe, obviously, with the way they're conceding goals, there is goals in for us, but who's going to be playing for us at the back? It's looking like it's going to be the Sassy right back in, or it could be Achimpong who's back in the squad. Is he back in the squad?
Who? Sassy?
Achimpong.
Achimpong's back in the squad, yeah.
So hopefully we see Achimpong down the right. I think it might be Sassy, Badashile, and it could be Cucurella left. But we yet to see that.
Cucurella is not coming.
Oh, so who's the only available left bottom?
Vega.
So it could be Vega. Okay, so that's not a bad back four, but very inexperienced. So playing against experienced Bundesliga team, maybe that means they're going to get a goal or two. So I can see it being a high scoring game. Maybe.
I thought he travelled. I'm sure I read the list earlier.
I think I read it earlier as well. Give me
I just read it out. I'm sure I saw it.
No,
I've got it, Kev. I've got it. Oh, you're right. Sorry. No, yeah, you're right.
No, it's not. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 5 defenders in the squad. Disassi, Tosin, Badashile, Cole, and Viega. So we haven't even got a right back. So we all know it's going to be Disassi right back. So whoever is playing left wing for them, if you're the manager of that team and you're seeing that squad and you've done your homework, you're going to be saying to your team to get to us, double up on that left side. You're going to say to your left back and your left winger, stay out wide, bring this Asiat into areas that he doesn't want to go in, and you're going to get Joey down there. So I can see them getting a goal or two, just because the fact that we haven't got a fit and available right back within that squad.
There you go, Kev. There you go. Well, listen, we're going to go through some of the quotes that Enzo Maresca has said in his press conference. It wasn't just him that was there. It was also Tosin as well. Apparently they were 30 minutes late, but they got there in the end. When asked about Josh Achimpong, he said he was training with us for the last 2 days. In terms of contract talks or these kind of things, there was not any update. Presumably he's back in training because of the Reece James scenario. When asked about Reece James, Maresca said, yes, he's had a scan. The only thing that we can say is that he is getting better day by day. We don't know how many days he needs. He's getting better. I saw one of the comments as well earlier saying that Reece should be stripped of the captaincy. I mean, is that a fair comment, or are we being a bit harsh?
Not yet. When the season's done, but if you do that now, it might unsettle the squad. Considering he has a lot of mates within the team from Cobham days, just leave it how it is. Leave it how it is.
If it's not broken, well, I say that, but Reece James is broken. He's injured.
Yeah, just yeah. He's been a broken man for 4 years now. Coming up to 4 years. What I can say is with Reece James, just leave it to the end of the season. Who knows? He might come back and he might last the end of this. He might come back and he might last to the end of the season. But we all know that's not going to happen. So bring him back if he comes out injured, if he goes in, goes out, and leaves it in the season. And then obviously we make a decision in the season what we want to do. And I feel like no decision should be made yet because we don't know where we stand with him. We don't know how fit he's going to be. We don't know what his mental state is. For me personally, it's kind of the writing's on the wall a bit. I think because we've obviously negotiated bringing Achimpong back, maybe that's signs to say James is out for a long period. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. You don't put Instagram status like that on your status, expressing how low you are in yourself if you're going to be out for a couple of weeks. I just feel like this may be a long-term thing. That's the reason why Chelsea have now they've gone to Achimpong and said, you know what, we want to resolve the situation. There's going to be an opportunity for you to get a lot of game time. That's the reason why he's back, and that's what I'm sensing what's going on. So leave the James situation to the end of the season. Don't unsettle the team by stripping him or anything like that. And then we'll see what happens at the end of the season with the captaincy and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of there's lots of things actually to go through that Maresca said. When asked about the importance of the Conference League, he said, first, it's a European competition, so it's very important. Since we start, we've tried to share minutes with all of the squad. In some games, we use young players. We'll see. Hopefully, we can continue. He was also asked about keeping his squad happy, and he said it's not the time to think about January. We have many games to play in December. I think that's a fair answer. I mean, there's no need to look that far ahead. We'll come to it and then we can think about it at that point. But also to elaborate on that, he mentioned João Felix playing in the Premier League against Leicester the other day. And Nkunku, he said, will definitely play in the Premier League. The intention is to keep all of them happy, even if it's not possible at times. And then coming on from Nkunku, which is probably the biggest example of a player I can imagine isn't happy with his game time at the moment. He said that he spoke to Christopher Nkunku a couple of days ago, and he didn't say he wasn't happy. He said he wants to play more games. The last game against Leicester, Enzo, Felix, Badiashile played. He also said there's not two squads. He said there's only one squad, and there is proof against Leicester. I mean, what's your reaction to that, Kev?
Just a very honest statements, and this is what I'm getting from Maresca. I really like how honest he is. That's what you want. The fans respect that. The players will respect that. The board will respect that. He doesn't put himself in any positions where he's backtracking. He just says it how it is, and that's good. With Nkunku, it's obvious. Any footballer who's not getting minutes is going to be unhappy. It's obvious. There's no point even mentioning it. If you're a player, let's be real about it. A top class player, top class international player, he was arguably Bundesliga's best player 2 seasons ago. And you're sitting on the bench week in, week out, you're going to be unhappy. But you've got to find the formula for him to get into. Look who's ahead of him. He's got the best player in the league in Parma. He's got Felix in front of him, which is a player which is on the trajectory. He's doing reasonable at the moment. And then we've got himself. And he's got Nicholas Jackson, who people are saying he's the second best striker in the Prem, which probably is a fair assumption right now.
I mean,
so he's got
100%.
Yeah, so he's got good players in front of him. It's down to Nkunku to knock down the doors now and prove himself that he's capable. But he has. In the games that he's played, he scored nothing but goals. He's not top goal scorer this season. But it's just unfortunate for him that there's a better striker than him and there's a better cam than him. So
I wouldn't say better striker, Kev. I'd say better suited to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's a better player in that role. As a lone striker, you need to be more physical. And Nkunku's not a physical player. Nkunku's more of a nimble player. He's one of them where he's got a bit of trickery and he can get a shot off. But I said last weekend against Leicester, I would have started him behind Jackson. I said I would have started Palmer on the right. I would have started Nkunku in the cam and Jackson at the top. So Nkunku just off a main man and see, I just feel like he needs a run of games. And we play in a lot of games in December. I think Lewis mentioned we've got 9 games. We're going to have midweek games. So there's plenty of opportunities for him to get game time in December. So I believe if him being a bit patient, there's going to be opportunities to prove himself. And I hope for his sake that once he gets the opportunities, he takes them and puts himself in contention to start further games next year in January.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we don't lose out in Nkunku. And if Nkunku isn't unhappy, then I hope he stays. I mean, Maresca definitely wants to keep Nkunku. When he was asked, he said absolutely. He said the same issue we mentioned many times with João Felix. If you play with Carl, João, Christo, Madueke, who is defending, their skills aren't defending, it is to attack. He said we love them and we want them, but we need the balance as well. And speaking about balance, I mean, that's a word we've heard many times with Enzo Maresca. He said we tried with João Felix and Cole together at Leicester. Hopefully soon we can try with Nkunku and Cole or Nkunku and Felix. And he said I completely want Nkunku to stay. There's no idea to allow him to go in January. He said that we know that Nkunku's best position is in between the line as a number 10, but Palmer's playing that. So we won't play many games with Cole, Palmer, and Nkunku, or Palmer and João Felix. He almost contradicted himself in a way. But he said they're all fantastic players and they will play, just not every game. So, I mean, I don't really know how to react to that because he literally just said, I want to do it, but I'm not going to do it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
I heard that as well. That baffled me because you're not going to play them all together anyway, There's literally no space to play all of them anyway. There's only a limited. You only get 11 players to choose from. So how are you going to fit them all in the team anyway? So that baffled me a bit of that statement. But obviously, there's a meaning to what there's a meaning to it what he said. So with anything, I feel like there's got to be. We have been very fortunate not to have injuries this year. Look at the turnaround of the form of injuries from last year to this year. We've had about 3 or 4 injuries up until now. This time last year, you're probably looking at 30, 40. No crap. We probably had about 30 injuries already at this point last year. So, and Nkunku was one of them. He had no game time because he was always injured. So this year, the medical team and everyone else, the training methods which Maresca's doing, something's working, and we've got a full squad to choose from every week. So it's just unfortunate that Nkunku's in a better team this year, and he's not getting as much minutes. But like I said, what Maresca said, it's about balance, and we've got balance now. We've got two completely different squads. Like we've got a squad for the Europa League, for the Europa Conference League. Sorry, we've got a squad for the Prem. I'm sure when the FA Cup starts, we'll have a squad for the FA Cup. So it's all about utilising all your key men in different games. But I sense that with Nkunku, he wants to be the main man. He wants to start in the Prem. But the opportunities that he's been given to him, has he taken them? Against Newcastle, he had an opportunity in the Carabao Cup. He never took it. So there's times where he hasn't been the best himself and not doing himself favours. So he has to just take minutes, what he gets, and prove himself. And tomorrow's an opportunity for him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, just coming back as well, Maresca did comment on Reece James. He said at the same time, you have to think he's a professional. He tries to run and play, and you can get injuries. Unfortunately, it's repeating, but hopefully we can find a solution soon. He said that it's something he has to fight. So he was talking about a mental battle, obviously with James being injured. It's normal when you get an injury in the same muscle, you become a little bit afraid. And yeah, I mean, he also, when asked about Reece James, he was asked about the tactics. I mean, what was he going to change tactically? And he said, sure, of course, we're happy to use him. He can help us in a different way. But because he's not with us at the moment, maybe we're going to have to change something up. He said, unfortunately, he's not with us. Hopefully we can have him soon. When he played from the start or the bench, he always helps us. I mean, what's the fundamental difference tactically that you have, let's just say, with Gusto on the right or Fofana compared to Reece James?
Reece James is a more well-balanced player, attacking and defensively. And he keeps the ball better in those inverted positions, okay? So with Gusto, we all know Gusto's wasted in inverted role because you don't want Gusto playing in the middle, don't you? You don't want Gusto playing that key, but that's not his game. Gusto isn't intricate enough to pick players out and pop the ball around. As in Reece James, he's had experience playing defensive midfield. He's had experience playing as a right centre back, so he can read the game better in central areas. He can keep the ball better in central areas. So that's what you're getting with Gusto. You want Gusto a bit like Cucurella against Leicester. Gusto would have shone on Saturday, because you all know what the game plan was. It was not inverted game. There was not inverted tactics at all. It was literally Cucurella out on the left, Fofana out on the right. If that was Gusto, that would have suited his game better. Because obviously with Gusto, he's all legs. Gusto wants to knock the ball inside, overlap, bomb up the pitch, get balls in. That's his game. Gusto is not a player that wants to come inside and play this inverted role. So that's the only difference for me. I think James is a better player within those central areas.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually don't think that we would have played a similar role for Gusto if he had played. I think he probably would have still been asked to invert, but you never know. I mean, when asked about Malo Gusto and also Pedro Neto, he said that he think they will return for the Aston Villa game. Both players have trained with the squad. We're not going to take any risks for the game against Heidenheim, but he thinks that they can both be available for the Aston Villa game, which is great news. But even still, I don't want to risk Pedro Neto. I mean, Pedro Neto has a track record of injuries. I mean, this is probably the only criticism that you could say with our signings. We have a lot of injury-prone players. When you look in our squad, we have a lot of players, they're just made of glass. I mean, Reece James is one of them. Fofana is another example. Then you go into the midfield. You've got Lavia. Enzo Fernandez has had injuries since he's been at Chelsea, but I actually think he's been quite available as well, so credit to him. You go further up the pitch. You've got Nkunku, who's had a lot of problems. You've got Pedro Neto. But a lot of these players, they're all starters. You know, it's not like they're players that they're not going to be starting every week. They're all regular starters for us. And if that wasn't an issue, I don't think I'd stress as much. But because it's always our best players that have these issues, I just think to myself, I'm glad Enzo Maresca doesn't risk it in that sense. But at the same time, I do think we could have put him in a better position to have players that are available. But I mean, that's not to criticize the talent we have. That's not the idea. But yeah, so what else? What else did he say? He also said more players are like this. The more you ask, the more I answer, and the more pressure there is on him. That's it. What do you think Maresca means by that? I'm going to share my screen with you, Kev, so you have an idea of
that
what I'm
seemed a
talking
bit. Yeah.
about. Have you seen that one?
No. So show me. Let me read it myself. Let me. So more players are like this. The more you ask, the more answer, and the more pressure there is on him. That's it. So who's you're talking about?
I think he's just talking about the players in general. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. I mean,
More players are like
I don't really
this.
know what that means.
Yeah. More players are like this. The more you ask, the more I answer, and the more pressure there is.
I think what he's basically saying is if the players ask for a lot, I'm guessing it's got something to do with demands of game time or something like that. What do you think? Oh, we talking about Reece James?
Nah, I think it's all about Nkunku. That's Nkunku. Sure, I've sure seen it as well. I'm sure that's Nkunku's on about.
It's about the press.
Oh wow.
More players are like. So I think that this comes from the comment above. So I don't think we can. I think the best thing we can do as staff and you, the media, along with us, don't talk too much about Reece. The more we talk, the more pressure we put on him. More players are like this. The more you ask, the more I answer, and the more pressure there is on him. That's it. I think that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the media.
Okay.
I see. But I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Kev? Do you agree? I personally think he's spot on. I mean, when you're a player and everyone's talking about you, you're not exactly what's the word? I mean, unless it's good things, which generally it isn't. Then I don't think it really
I
enhances your
just
position.
feel like it probably spoke a bit too much there, mate. We all know as professional players that there's going to be stuff in the media, negative and bad, negative and positive. More negative, like you said. There's no need to go into depth about it. We all know that they're going to try and unsettle us. The media know what we're doing well. They're going to start bringing stuff out like Nkunku going to Man United. They're going to try and unsettle players. They're going to try and bring the confidence down in the players. That's how it is. So as a manager of a professional football club, there's no need to lower your standards and answer questions to the press. Just take it as a pinch of salt. I don't see nothing about it. It's just it is what it is, mate. I'm sure the players are, and I'm sure Maresca's got the players fully focused, and it's showing on the pitch. So I don't think anything at all in the media can unsettle us right now, as long as Maresca's keeping the squad fully focused.
That's it, man. Well, listen, I'm sure we are focused. If we don't win this competition, then I don't know what we will win. I think it's that important for us, and we're going to take it seriously. But as it stands, we do have a much stronger team than a lot of the people we're playing against, so we can get away with this heavy rotation. Maresca, when asked about the Conference League, he said, I enjoy every game knowing that in this competition we are there. We know that we are the big game for the other teams. The problem for us, the issue can be that if we are not ready mentally and underestimate some of the teams, then they can hurt us, which is absolutely spot on. I don't think there's anything I'll disagree with on that. Tosin also was asked a few questions and had a few things to say about the players in general. He said everyone enjoys playing football. Any club you go out to enjoy them, perform, and get the best result for the club. He was also asked about being a leader, and he said, "I have full belief in my abilities. I'm sure everyone else does in the squad. I wouldn't say that I'm tasked as being a leader. It's an amazing responsibility to come into the club and lead the boys. It's something I've always done, no matter the club or age. My leadership qualities are one of my strengths. It's an honor." Yeah, and I think, you know what? If there's one thing that I love about Tosin, this is probably one of the reasons I vouch for the guy. And I think to myself, I would love it if Tosin started ahead of Wesley Fofana. Everyone knows this, because I believe that Tosin has what's the word? Fofana is a better footballer. I don't deny that, but I think Tosin is a better character to have in the squad. And for that reason, I always wanted Tosin to do well. But I mean, he's just not as good as Fofana. But he's not injured all the time. So if Fofana gets injured, I'm going to go, I told you.
Yeah.
Why are you building your team around this guy? So we definitely need to upgrade that centre-back spot. And I actually spoke this morning, Kev. I did a stream about it, about getting Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace. He's only got a year left on his contract from the summer.
So we'll have Mark Guehi and Mark Guehi.
Mark Guiu.
Mark Guiu and Mark Guehi.
Yes.
It's going to be fucking difficult, isn't it, for us lot?
Well, if
yeah,
Guiu get a lot of game time with Guehi, then yeah, you're going to have a few tongue twisters in there.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
Guehi.
Guehi to Guehi, yeah, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, yeah, I've read into it. Baffles me. What, we got rid of him only about 5 years ago, didn't we? And all of a sudden now he linked with him back for return, and he has come on leaps and bounds. I think that move to Palace has made him the player he is today. You left a little kid and he's matured, and now he's England's regular starter.
Well, I think he's actually better than Chalobah. People go and bring back Chalobah, but I actually think Gui's a better player than Chalobah. And I wouldn't say that about the majority of our defenders.
He's a top 6 centre back. He's you know what I mean.
I don't think there's a team in the league that doesn't take Mark Guehi.
Yeah, he's proven it.
I think Man City would take him. I'm not saying he would start for Man City. I'm saying they would take him. They'd buy him.
Quality. He'd start.
Bro, if Nathan Ake can go to Man City and start, don't tell me Mark Guehi can't.
Yeah.
Nathan Ake went from Bournemouth. I'm sorry.
He's quality.
People underestimate players just because they're in their own league. And I think that you don't think Liverpool do. What about squad depth, though? Squad depth, guys. What about if Konate gets injured or Van Dijk?
Yeah, 100%. Any team in the Prem would have him in the squad, even if he wasn't started. So, good player to be linked to. Don't know if I real the rooms are, but that's an area that we need to stiffen up. Tosin, I'm sure he was the under-21s captain at Man City when Maresca won the Premier League 2 with Palmer and Delap from Ipswich. There was a whole players, and I think Tosin was the captain there. Yeah, I'm sure Fulham, he had a senior role there, a leadership role there as well. So maybe tomorrow he gets the armbands and he proves that we've got another leader at the back, and that's what we need. With James being out for so long, Enzo in and out of the squad, we need another one to rise within the pack and be a leader. So it's important that we're giving opportunities to lads to prove that they are captain material within the squad.
Fair enough. Tosin also was given a bit of advice. Well, when he was talking about his younger teammates, he was saying 16 or 17 is very young. We don't have any 16 or 17-year-olds. Maybe Shimmy, and that is a nickname for Chimera Mweka. He's a top talent, apparently, according to Tosin. He said, hopefully he gets on the pitch and impresses. You play best with no pressure. He also elaborated on Chimera Mweka, saying, to be honest, I've not seen him play many games. In training, he has the ability with the ball at his feet. He's able to score a lot of goals, which is an amazing quality, and a striker. Also, he's a striker. Hopefully, he can do that with us. I mean, I've got no idea who this guy is, but big up to him. I hope we see him maybe get some time on this. I mean, I don't think he'll get any minutes because you got Mark Guiu as well, who will come on for Nkunku. So I think it's unlikely that we'll see any of the younger players unless there's another position. I mean, Tosin was also asked about Chelsea having the youngest squad in the Premier League. He said, yeah, we've got a very young squad. We're pushing and we're here to compete with everybody in the league. We don't look at our age. We believe that we can get the results and performances. He also said that we've just started with the new manager and are still learning things. There's a patience on that end. At the end of the day, this is Chelsea. The demands are high. We have to go out every single session and train hard. Yeah, and there's just a lot of comments about I don't even think we need to really speak too much about it. But yeah, I mean, we know we've got to take the competition seriously. Yes, but I think what he's talking about, Chris, is players in the squad at this moment. They're not obviously playing with Chelsea right at this moment. But when they do, then they will. Yes, that's correct. So yeah, I mean, Kev, for me, I mean, we shouldn't lose. I mean, I miss Champions Leagues, Kev.
I know,
Heidenheim.
mate. When you see some of the games tonight,
go. If you don't go, it's not that fun.
Oh, so you're not going tomorrow, are you?
I'm not going, mate.
Yeah, but it is what it's. Come on, man. You can't go to every game, bro. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's good to keep the bank balance fresh and also keep the missus fresh when you're always traveling for 2-3 days at a time. So yeah, just have a rest, watch it on TV.
Fresh.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that one before.
That's a new one for me. Keep the missus fresh from moaning, let's say.
Do you keep going away? Fresh from moaning every week?
Yeah. Are you going away again? Are you getting pissed again? Are you losing your passport again? All the usual shenanigans.
Sounds about right.
So just relax, go to work. I'll hopefully be back tomorrow night. Watch it on my laptop or whatever, and just chill. It's not a massive game. I don't see the need to even think about going to Heidenheim. No.
Why not? I'd love to go. There's like
Where
is
it? West Germany, North Germany? What part of Germany is it?
South, I think. I think it's south.
Oh wow.
Yes, a bit of a shit part of Germany, but that's not the point, Kev. The point is, I'd love to be there. Would you not want to go to Heidenheim? The only country that I can remember that allow you to drink beer in the stands.
Germany.
Mate, you don't have to chug it at halftime. You can bring it up. Buy two.
Yeah, whatever you want. Unless you're me. And I'll just bring it up anyway. I just don't care.
What would you do?
I've done it at Wolves away a few times. I've just gone out and snuck it up and just had myself a pint on the stand. But yeah, legally in Germany, you can drink it in the stands. And I had a mate who went to a Schalke game for his stag do. And they literally had like big crate of beers and was drinking it in the stand, man. Just chilling. Proper beer as well.
Their own beers.
No. The beers that are bought, but like it comes in like a big, massive, like in the American ice hockey games where you get the crate where you got all the beers in, like a floater. Yeah. So basically, I had one of them and I like 8 beers in there, and I was all.
They're cans or were they like pints?
Proper pints. Yeah, loving it. Absolutely loving it. So
I've seen challenges where people like at the cricket and they balance them on their head, but just the cups, but not with the beer. And once they've drank, but I don't really see much else because obviously in the like in England we don't really have that. I say that though, Kev. Boxing, darts. If you ever do that, I mean, I've been to the boxing a couple of times. That's quite nice. Drinking like while you're watching, it is nice, man. I'm not going to lie to you, it's nice. But I just
the only reason why I don't, because of football hooliganism. That's the only reason why. Because if you think about it, football is known for dust-ups after the game, so they try and minimalise the time where you're drinking throughout the 90 minutes. So think about it. In England, if you were drinking throughout the game, then you walk outside the stadium pissed, and then someone says, fuck off, Chelsea, and you've had a drink, and then next thing you know, there's a 10v10 scrap. So that's the only reason why they've cancelled drinking throughout the games, because of football hooliganism. Oh yeah.
I think it's good, to be fair, Kev. I honestly don't think that they should bring it back. Especially being in, I mean, just my own position. I can imagine I'll be vlogging and my phone will get soaked if we score. Absolutely. So I'll get soaked.
Shit, though.
You would throw the fucking beer right in the air. Like if we scored a 90th minute winner, you've got your beer, you're throwing it in the air.
Done.
Everyone's
It's good,
getting
though.
soaked.
It's good, though, because look at Leicester Saturday. I had dry mouth to F, yeah. Water, and there's a queue all the way back to the stairs. I looked at Fats, and Fats was nice enough to say, you know what, Kev, have some of this. As I would have, how can I get a water? Even if I wanted the water, how can I get a drink and still be able to go back to the game in time? It's impossible. So I do feel like there needs to be more in English stadiums in regards to time to get drinks and whatnot, because it's shit. You got half time. That's it. Either you leave 5 minutes early and miss a goal, or you leave 5 minutes after and you can't get served for a beer. So what are we doing here? It's not very good, isn't it?
It's true. It's not. You're not wrong, man. Well, listen, Kev, I'm going to wrap it up there. But listen, big up to everyone that's watching. If you haven't already, smash the like button. Please do. It helps the channel out massively. It shows us that you're enjoying the content that we are making. I've got a QR code up as well. Omelie in the top corner. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to download Omelie. Myself and Kev, will you jump on Omelie tomorrow, or are you not around?
I can jump on. It's what time?
Tomorrow morning ish, late morning.
Tomorrow morning's fine. Tomorrow morning's fine. I'm free up until tomorrow evening.
Love it. All right. Well, me and Kev will be on Anomaly tomorrow. I am going to get a show going with Lewis and Nina and Charlie as well. So check us out on there. Apart from that, guys, big up to everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Absolutely dark night. No drugs in the stadium. Absolutely no.
Make sure you told that to me, yeah.
What?
No drugs in the stadium to this guy here.
I'm the one that's well behaved. But listen, all the best, guys, and we will catch up very, very soon.